Oh, shoot. Hey guys, what's up? It's Kaiman, and here I am on a YouTube channel. I know, it's kind of weird, but also not really, because this is what I wanted to do for my first video, and I couldn't. And the reason why I couldn't is because for whatever reason my headset just would refuse to take a charge. I mean, at the time I'm recording this, it is like, what, 6:40 p.m? So it's kind of evening time, not really that late, but I figured to kind of get back into the swing of things, because I do have some more heavy-duty videos I want to come up with later. I did want to come out and make a kind of a smaller scale video, just kind of discussing a topic that's been on my mind a little bit, and I have something that is not necessarily new to the furry fandom, or really anything in the world, but I kind of wanted to just mention anyway. So here goes nothing. I have been seeing a lot of people on Twitter, mostly because, you know, we all know furry Twitter. There are a lot of people on furry Twitter that are in relationships, or they're just people in general that are in relationships. And in the furry fandom, at least something that I've noticed that I don't really see in a lot of other areas, is they usually specify open and closed relationships, right? So you have open relationships, which to my understanding means that if you are in a relationship, but you're open to doing things with other people, like this could be sexual, like you could be down for really whatever, right? It's a relationship where you two are committed to each other, but you can also like do sexual things with other people if you so desire. And then there's a closed relationship where the relationship is, well, closed off. There's no expectation, there's no real way for someone to be like, you know, oh, you can have sex with this person, or vice versa, right? It's just those two are in that relationship, or multiple. You could have a closed relationship of more than two people. This is just how things are in the furry fandom, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing. But the one thing I will say that I do see, and it's not from everybody, but it's enough to where it's somewhat weird. It's to the point where there's even memes about it. There are some people out there that are really into the idea of hitting on people and making advances and all this other stuff with people who are already in a relationship, which I find to be very weird. I don't know why people do this. I really don't, because it's really as simple as just if the person is in a relationship, you have to respect that. And if they decide to specify or they say that they're open, that's one thing. But I generally feel like the best way to avoid being in a situation like that is to just assume every relationship is closed until proven otherwise. Because a lot of people, a lot of furries in the fandom, let's be honest, okay? They just love having sex, okay? They love having sex. They love f***ing. They love being intimate with other people. They love cuddling, all this other stuff, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But what I am saying is there are some people that don't really have a boundary, right? They'll go to someone and they'll be like, hey, you know, I think you're really cute. Do you want to go back to my room and do something later? And then the other person will say, oh, I'm actually in a relationship, you know, a closed relationship, so I can't really do that. But I appreciate the kind offer. And then at this point, there's two different ways this conversation can go. The first one can be, oh, that's no problem. I didn't mean that. Or I didn't mean to like intrude or anything like that. I'm sorry. Or the route that, which is, I think the route that a good amount of people in the fandom take. And then there's some in the fandom that are just like, yeah, but what if we did it anyway? Now, here's the thing. There are some people that would just straight up do stuff with other people. And then after the fact, they'll be like, well, did I cheat? One of the most interesting things I think I see, not just in the furry fandom, but just in general, is people will do something, and then after they do it, they'll be like, is this cheating, right? They'll make like a Reddit post, or they'll make some sort of post, and they'll be like, so-and-so, I did so-and-so and so-and-so, is this cheating? And it's like, I don't know, ask your partner. The thing I kind of want to make this video about is because I think the other day, I saw a couple of tweets, and those tweets basically were people ranting about other furries basically hitting on their partners when their partners were either right there or they were in a closed relationship. It's known that they're in a closed relationship, and they just basically make sexual advances towards them anyway. Now, obviously, everyone's different, but I would say that that's pretty fucked up. Like, if someone is in a relationship and you don't hit on someone that's in a relationship, that's like common sense rule number one, right? The caveat to that is if they're like in an open relationship and they're okay with that, right? Notice how I didn't equate the two, because there are some open relationships that are open to certain things and closed to others. An open relationship is not an invitation to do whatever you want with someone just because they're committed to someone else. There's a meme that's in the furry community, and it's like a picture of this like smiley face, and the smiley face is like, is the relationship open yet? It's like, why are you worried about that? Why are you worried about why don't you try and find your own relationship? And that's easier said than done, right? It's very hard to find a partner nowadays. It's honestly pretty hard to find a partner in the fandom nowadays with how, tight some of these circles really are. But the caveat to that, or I won't say the caveat, but the other side of that is that should go to show you how much work it takes to put into being in a relationship. So when someone comes up and is trying to basically fuck because they have those feelings, they have those desires, and they go up to someone and do that, you have to understand that there's something weird about that, and not everyone is going to take very kindly to it. I probably wouldn't, and I know a lot of other people that wouldn't either. Now, let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with being in, say, an open relationship and being like, hey, yeah, we can do this, that, or the third. That's not every situation. And that's why I say I think it's just better to assume every relationship is closed unless it's otherwise stated. Because it is not normal to go up to someone and assume that they're going to be in an open relationship and assume that they're going to have sex with you. Trust me, there are plenty of people in the fandom that are not in relationships that would absolutely like to have sex with you. And there's nothing wrong with having sex. Like, I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with having sex. I'm not saying that's not like a bad thing. But I will say that there is something wrong with going and doing things that are not necessarily what I would consider to be a good thing. So I would keep that in mind when people are going and doing things. Especially at places like conventions where, you're not always going to be under the close watch of whoever may be taking care of you at that time. And put simply, I don't know, I just don't really like the idea of hitting on someone in a relationship, doing things with someone in a relationship. I just don't really like that. Because it feels like there's an expectation that they are obligated to let you do something with them, and they're just not. They're just not obligated to let you do that. So, I don't know. That's that's kind of how I see the situation. That's kind of how I see the manner. I actually don't know how I'm gonna rate this video, because I say this video is gonna be for all ages, and there's gonna be some videos that are probably gonna be for more mature audiences because they discuss more mature topics. I don't really know how I'm going to do that. I don't know, maybe this video might not exist. Maybe this video will exist, but it'll be like censored. But overall, I think people going on Twitter and complaining that people are hitting on their boyfriends when they're already in a relationship is bad. Because it's a problem that people have, because people don't want to accept the fact that others are in relationships, and they don't want to accept the fact that people are closed in relationships sometimes. And I think that is something that people also struggle to deal with. They don't see that someone's closed, and it's like, oh, I really like you, I really want to do things, especially in these parasocial relationships. There's not always reciprocation there. So if you want to do something, right, and you want to do something with someone who's in a closed relationship, you should probably just not ask. You should probably just forget it. It's slightly different if it's in an open relationship, but if it's a closed relationship, you should probably just assume that they're not going to do anything with you, because they're in a relationship already. They're already committed to a relationship. So there's no reason for them to go out of their way to ruin that or break that or whatever, at least not without talking to the other person first before you go and do anything. Before you flirt, before you hug, before you do anything. I honestly don't know if this video made sense. It's something I might want to return to in the future in a more structured format, but I kind of wanted to take this time to just kind of ramble on. This is going to happen. This is going to be a channel where I sometimes just do ramblings about topics that I think are really random. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Respect people in close relationships. Respect people in all relationships, open or closed, poly or not, because there's so much more to be said here, but I'm sure that people have already thought about this and are already doing this. So yeah, with that being said, I think that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully another video will be out within the next 2 weeks or so. I don't really know what the topic of that one's going to be. It's probably going to be a more structured, more edited video than this. I just kind of want to get on here on my soapbox and start talking, because what else am I going to do on this channel? But thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to catch my streams. They're 18 plus, so if you're not 18 plus, please don't go to the streams. But if you are 18 plus, head over to the streams, twitch.tv/KaimanTheHybrid. I stream every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at the current moment, but that could change. But that's what it is right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!